Did you know that BDSM and kink are healthy outlets for aggression, imagination, and attention? Hi, and welcome to The Partition, home of kinky wellness. My name is Dana Slosser, and I'm a sexual wellness coach that dives deep into all things kinky. I'm here to show how BDSM and kink deserves a rightful spot within the sexual wellness conversation. So, let's talk about it. So 2 weeks ago, my dance class, Brass Vixens, put on a Halloween showcase, and I couldn't make it to the last show, so I was very happy I could make it to this showcase. Now, the MC who was hosting that night was hilarious. She said so many funny jokes, but the one thing she said that stuck out to me was that everyone is a slutty something, which I couldn't agree more with. I believe all of us have a little slutty something on the inside. I believe it so much that's why I encourage those curious about BDSM and kink to just check it out. Obviously, you need to know your basics first, but without BDSM and kink, where will you ever be able to express your little slutty self? That's one factor of why I like Halloween, because I love seeing what each year is going to bring. I look forward to seeing what new slutty something our pop culture has created. And Halloween and Kink is a match made in heaven for the people that are still curious but haven't fully committed to trying it out. Because it's the one day of the year where it's kind of like topsy-turvy day of Hunchback of Notre Dame, where everything is completely upside down. It's the one day of the year where people can flaunt their inner sexualities in a way that's not stifled by everyday norms. You can wear anything that would otherwise be unsuitable in traditional society and accompany that outfit with a totally new persona. I believe for some, Halloween is very much an outlet for self-expression and can be used to break taboos and create parodies. I don't believe that Halloween should be taken so seriously, although I can get pretty serious about Halloween parties. I think Halloween gives people an excuse to use their imagination, especially with adults, which adults don't do enough. Of course, there will always be critics of Halloween and the outfits that come out, but let the haters hate. I heard a good quote and it said, hurt people hurt people. So if someone's trying to take you down for being sexy, that person most likely doesn't feel that sexy to begin with. So really, I would just feel bad for that person and move on. Of course, that's easier said than done. I know that there are people out there that are interest shaming and are doing it as if it's their full-time job. But not doing what you want to do because of someone else's opinion or out of fear? Well, that's just not a good way to live. And like I said before, feeling sexy is a requirement and not a recommendation. Plus, dressing up is letting you live out that section of your personality. It's not like you dress up in a costume and then you become that costume for the rest of your life. We have several personalities that are deep down inside of us. And as much as I wish I could stay a princess, at some point in the night, the bell strikes 12 and I turn back into regular Dana. But with each new outfit that I put on, I can bring out a new person within myself that wants to be experienced. Our souls want to experience everything it can think of. And with seeing so many different variations of what life could be thanks to technology, we have all these versions inside us that we don't show in our day-to-day, but they still want to be experienced. So why not let loose on the one day of the year you're allowed to? Plus, dressing up has been around for years, especially masquerade balls. Take a look at the Charles V of France. Here's a little fun fact for you. On January 28, 1393, he threw a masquerade and costume ball just to celebrate the marriage to his wife. Now, why couldn't we keep that marriage tradition going? And then through the 16th, 17th, and 18th century, masked balls kind of popped up everywhere, from Venice to Sweden, and we even have masquerade balls today. Obviously, masquerade balls are pretty popular around New Year's here, and I've thrown one or two myself. But let me pause and give a brief history from our lovely resource Google over here. Halloween's origins can be traced back to the ancient Celtic festival known as Samhain. Samhain was held on November 1st in contemporary calendars, and it was believed that on that day, the souls of the dead returned to their homes. So the people during this time dressed in costumes and lit bonfires to ward off spirits. Yeah, I don't think Halloween costumes nowadays try to ward off anything. Actually, in fact, I think it's exact opposite. But you gotta admit, the sexual energy around Halloween is pretty great. Well, at least for me, I think it's great. I feel that people who dress up or take the time to dress up get really into feeling themselves. And Halloween brings a lot of hype up energy. Like, yes, yes. Like, I think, like, that's the Halloween types that I've experienced. And personally, I think that people need to tell their friends that they're sexier more often. But that has nothing to do with Halloween. That's just like a fun fact I think everyone should do. So the next time you see your friend, turn to them and say, "You're sexy." But yes, I believe that we need to be our own sexual energizer bunny when it comes to our sexual energy. But sometimes it takes a little help. And I don't think our external resources for feeling sexy should only be on our significant other. Like, to loop a little bit into like telling our friends to feel sexy, it should be normalized. Friends are the people we choose to keep around, and they're the ones that are supposed to make us feel good about ourselves. It's not like we're leaning on them 110%, but friends are there to build us up. And fuck, if that ain't sexy, then what is? So if your friend is looking hot, go and tell them you look hot. And on the other side of, the slutty something of Halloween, there's the side to get scared. And if you're anything like me, you like being scared, or at least certainly don't mind it. Halloween is a great day to get scared or do scary things. I watched a great little TED Talk that went into why being scared can be fun and feel pretty good. So let me just break it down real quick. So when fear comes in, it sets off our fight or flight response that makes our body prepare for potential danger. So that releases chemicals that can change in our brains and our body functions, which then jump starts the survival part of our system by making sure we have enough energy and are being protected from feeling pain by shutting down non-essential systems, like critical thought. It's kind of like when you're going up a big roller coaster and you're just about to go over the edge. And on that final part, when you're finally over and you can see straight down and the fear has set in and it's kicked off and it's at its highest peak, and all you're thinking about is that moment and nothing else, that's what it means by shutting off other critical thoughts. You're just very much in that moment. And speaking from experience, this is very much how I feel as well. But it also can be compared to the same feelings as excitement and extreme happiness, just because you're putting yourself in a state where you're fear, but you know that you're not actually in danger. So you can just like be in that moment of that actual feeling, knowing you're going to be okay. Because your body doesn't know the difference, right? So like when you allow people to feel fear without the actual danger, you can allow yourself to just experience the high of being scared. So in the video, it mentioned that's why people on roller coasters go from screaming to laughing within moments. And honestly, I love those moments. I love those moments where I'm screaming and then laughing and then screaming again and laughing, because I do think that itself is a roller coaster. And then doing the things that scare you also boosts your self-esteem. Like, obviously, we all know the whole thing of facing your fears. Well, facing your fears is what allows you to grow and mature and expand your consciousness. So, for instance, if you create a scary situation, but your brain knows that you're actually in no danger, like I said before, that doesn't mean that your body is going to think that. So when you reach the end of a scary task or scene or scenario, you can get a really, really strong sense of accomplishment. But as a child, Halloween was just about how many pillowcases of candy I could get before people went to sleep. The best part about having split houses is that I could do Halloween at my mom's place and I could do Halloween at my dad's place. And at my dad's place, it always seemed like my brother and my cousin and I were the first ones out and last ones to come in. And as I got older, I continued to see Halloween as a stronger and stronger outlet for people for self-expression. But like I said, I did take Halloween super seriously, and I used to throw, in my opinion, fantastic Halloween themed parties. I hope it's okay if I tell you my top 3 or so. Like, I'm going to tell you my favorite ones. So one year I did an silent theme. So we ordered about 10 to 15 medical gowns, the ones that patients wear, and those went to the majority of guests. I myself was a doctor, And because I'm a stickler for details, I did create a medical badge for each person that explained their symptoms and their illnesses. And then I had a doctor's prescription pad, and each time someone came in, I would just issue them a prescription for whatever drink they were drinking that night. And then I did the, classic Greek gods and circus and everything like that. But my favorite Halloween party I ever threw was definitely this one where it was monster ball, in Dracula's lair. And it was in our apartment, and honestly, every single wall was covered. It looked like we were the inside of a dungeon. The monster ball was amazing because everyone dressed up as a different monster or character. And this one, no one really dressed slutty. Everyone was, with the times. I felt like we could be transported to an actual monster's ball and fit right in. So Halloween doesn't have to be slutty, but I think people should embrace the little Halloweens in their lives. The dressing up aspect of Halloween allows adults to not take life so seriously. You can just be a kid and play pretend. It's fun. I don't understand this strictness where we can't use our imagination anymore. So, yeah, there you have it. Why I think people need to embrace Halloween. And, there's some of us that like feeling and facing the feeling of fear itself during this time as well, and sometimes not during Halloween. While other people use Halloween to express their sexual self. And like the MC said, everyone is a slutty something. So go take time and reflect on what your slutty something is if you don't know. If you do know what your slutty something is, let me know in the comments. But what do you think about Halloween? Do you think it's used as an outlet? Let me know in the comments. Well, that's it for me. Happy Halloween, and thank you for listening. Tune in next week, and as always, stay kinky.